pandemic in full force, what better time to review a movie about advanced killer aliens being done in by microscopic germs in its latest adaptation of H.G. Wells' classic novel? Can this installment live up to past adaptations? Guess we're gonna find out. I'm Bob, you're you, and this is Classically Bad Cinema. H.G. Wells' novel, which was first published in 1898, has been famously turned into an infamous 1938 radio program that managed to scare the hell out of the country, proving that even 80 years ago, people will believe just about anything that they hear. It was also adapted into an award-winning film in 1953, a short-lived television series in 1988, been made into plays, miniseries, video games, and then a movie remake in 2005. The movie starts with God, also known as Morgan Freeman, narrating that Earth is being watched by intelligent beings with envious eyes, like some creepy voyeuristic neighbor or something. The opening is actually a nod to the 1953 movie that had a similar opening. Interesting enough, these alien beings are never referred to as Martians, but from an unknown planet. It is here where we get introduced to Ray Ferrier, the hero of the film, who seems to have the incredible ability to annoy or piss off everyone that he comes in contact with. Ray first pisses off his boss.
You know what your problem is?
The ex-wife.
A little old to still be sharing, aren't they?
I don't hear any complaints.
No, I do.
The new husband.
I'm gonna go wait outside.
His son on several occasions.
You're an asshole. Hate coming here.
Why you act like such a dick? Why don't you just let me make the big decisions, okay?
What you be when? Never, Ray? Never about your speech.
Okay, hey, enough of the race shit!
You know, this is really good, Robbie. Vinaigrette, I said packed food. What the hell is this?
That's all it was in your kitchen.
So you want to try something like that? You have anything like that?
You want to come off all wines and shit?
His daughter.
No more talking, okay?
It's me, Ray.
No more
Be a little
talking.
nicer to me.
Manny.
All right, get out of the truck. I'm not kidding now. Get out.
Obviously the aliens here. The news reporter.
You gotta be kidding me, right?
These people who want to ride.
Sorry, I can't.
This guy that really wants Ray's car. This soldier.
There's no more room. There's no more room.
That soldier.
Go. Just keep moving.
This soldier too.
An hour ago. Now, please, let's go. Keep moving.
Harlan.
You and me. I don't think we're on the same page.
After some reckless driving and some weird lighting, like the film is overexposed or something, Ray gets home to his ex-wife waiting to drop the kids off for his weekend custody visit. Evidently, he's so excited to see his kids, he can't help his daughter get her heavy bags out of the car, instead has to rely on pregnant mom here. It doesn't take long to see how shaky of a relationship Ray has with his kids, especially his son Robbie, as these two can't seem to play catch for 10 minutes without going at it.
Just do your report. We don't send you to school so you can flunk out.
You don't pay for it. Tim does.
That's half what I got.
The weekend gets even rougher when he wakes up and finds out from his daughter Rachel that his son Robbie stole his car and decided to go joyriding.
Where is Robbie?
He went out.
Out where?
I don't know. He just took your car and left.
Here's a man that had his priorities straight. A strange lightning storm starts brewing, which means we're either going to Oz or the aliens that God mentioned at the beginning of this film have finally arrived. The storm also causes an EMP that fries all the electronic devices. Well, almost all the devices, as we'll see. After Robbie tells him where his car is, he decides to talk to the auto mechanic Manny, tell him to try and change out the van's solenoid that won't start. Gee, I wonder if that little tidbit's going to come into play later in this film. He makes his way to a group of people standing around the middle of an intersection near a church where 26 lightning strikes occurred, leaving a hole in the street. Interesting enough, the 1953 movie attack ended near a church, and it seems that the 2005 is going to start near a church. The ground starts to shake as a cop tells everyone to back away because, hey, there's nothing to see here. And after some extensive property damage, the tripod starts to rise from the dirt, proving that today is a bad day to be a gawker and why the fine people here at General Insurance Day just got very busy.
Ray, no. Stay, man.
Ray, you should probably listen to your buddy here. This guy and Ricky Bobby must most have the same idea in mind.
Cruz!
Why the hell are these people still gawking? This isn't E.T. The special effects of the alien tripods is very impressive and really beckons to the original novel's description. These have to be the same people that get hell-bent on recording tornadoes instead of seeking shelter. And remember when I said that the EMP fried almost all of the electronics? Well, look here, because it looks like one managed to survive. Honestly, how's this guy filming if the EMP fried everything? Anyways, it doesn't take long for the aliens to start zapping people with their weapons, which as this movie advances really doesn't make a lot of sense, as I'll explain later. I just wonder if these aliens are from E.T.'s world and they're just here because they're pissed at the long distance bill they got from E.T. phoning home all the time. Murray miraculously escapes death and destruction and returns home covered in what is really essentially dead people, which I guess you could say is kind of like an instant Soylent Green.
Silent Green is people!
Ray grabs his gun, a box of food, and makes a beeline for the door to go to Manny's garage to grab the van. Well, I'll be damned. Who would have guessed that that would have paid off earlier? Manny here is not too keen with Ray and his kids jumping in the van ready to take off. Now, in a situation like this, the best thing to do is to remain calm and not come off as a raving lunatic.
Get in, Manny, or you're gonna die.
Never mind. As they ditch Manny to die, Ray and the kids narrowly escape the neighborhood as the machines attack and the neighborhood is destroyed, absolutely destroying his home resale value. But hey, at least he got a nice van out of it. Ray races through the traffic to escape the advancing death machines on his tail, and lucky for him, traffic is light enough to zip through as Rachel starts screaming excessively.
When you start screaming like that, I can't really drive it. I know that. That's where we're going right now.
Aren't you glad you're subjected to this instead of some cool alien attack action? Ray manages to make it to the ex-wife house to find everyone gone and to take refuge in the basement. Sleep is short-lived as Ray is awoken by horrifying loud noises and blinding lights from outside, and they quickly hide in a boiler room as the basement fills with flames. In the morning, Ray discovers that the sounds and explosion was from a passenger jet that was shot down. He learns from a news crew that is scavenging for food and water that not only do the machines have shields to protect them, but there is not just one but a whole invading army of thousands all over the country. Ray learns that the alien machines have been buried under the ground and that they ride the lightning into the machines. Man, they must be Metallica fans. Ray's plan is to take back roads and avoid potential crowds who may want his car, which we will see he fails miserably at doing. And wouldn't you know it, even with an alien attack, they still have to stop for a bathroom break. Typical kids. Ray, you did a bang-up job avoiding these crowds. It doesn't take long for the people to swarm the van and start attacking. They must have heard that they might have some toilet paper in the back or something. In the melee, they are forced to give up the van. What was that plan again?
Why the hell are we on the turnpike?
Because I don't want everybody to see that we've got a working car.
Which is very reminiscent of the 1953 film when Dr. Clayton Forrester loses his truck with all the science stuff on it, which pretty much could have potentially doomed mankind. So our weary group finally makes it to the ferry, and look at this. Look at all the people that managed to keep their cars and get them on the ferry. What the hell, Ray? These people managed to get their cars to the ferry. As they near the ferry, a tripod arrives, forcing Jack Black here to set off panic as everyone races to get to the boat before it makes it to the harbor. They manage to make it to the safety of the ferry as the alien machine advances. But relief is short-lived as another machine rises from the water in spectacular fashion and attacks the ferry, causing Ray and the kids to fall into the water. This is an absolute awesome entrance in this film. And speaking of scenes, this scene really does an excellent job just showing how deadly and unrelenting these aliens are. And how if you want to survive, you have to keep moving. Next on Deadliest Catch, human fishing. This scene also does a great job illustrating just how coordinated they are. The situation goes from one machine initially to 3, then ultimately 10 a moment later. Again, I wonder, why are they disintegrating the people? Ray and the kids have joined another group of refugees just walking the countryside. And I just love how these refugees, after surviving attack after attack, decide that the best thing to do is race towards the attack. as a jet and stuff fly overhead. Maverick!
Goddamn son of a bitch!
Even during the alien attack, people have to gawk. Robbie insists he has to see it for whatever reason. I don't know. Of course the attack fails and they are left to flee once again. But hey, we do get treated to another incredible entrance by one of the tripods. If there's anything, again, that this film does well, it's these entrances with these aliens. They end up taking shelter in a cellar with Harlan, who is an ambulance driver and is also a major league creepo, as we will see. Harlan believes the machines were buried right under our feet for millions of years. How he came up with that theory, who knows? How did they keep that hidden for so long without anyone managing to stumble upon them accidentally? Why would you wait to 2005? Wouldn't the 1800s be a better time to attack? Or maybe after World War II when the world was ravaged by war? Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Harlan starts to be a real creepo when the aliens send in a probe for whatever reason. And I mean a very large probe to search the basement. I really hope that this probe doesn't double as an anal probe. You would think that if you mastered intergalactic travel and managed to bury machines under the ground and keep them hidden for that long, that you might be able to create a probe that might, I don't know, be wireless?
Anyone from a species that has mastered intergalactic travel, raise your hand. All right, then.
They survived the initial probing of the basement only to have to contend with the actual aliens themselves sightseeing in a wet and nasty basement. Could you imagine if the aliens busted into Buffalo Bill's basement?
It rubs the lotion on its skin. It does this whenever it's told.
Wouldn't have ended well. Creepo Harlan loads his gun ready to start blasting, which basically would lead them to being captured or killed. Harlan and Ray struggle with the gun as the aliens investigate a bike, proving that these guys are not E.T. A siren finally sounds from one of the tripods, signaling that their coffee break is over and that it's time for them to get their asses back to work. We get more red plans from alien beings who are not from Mars, and our survivors are making a horrifying discovery that the aliens have been capturing humans to harvest our blood and use it for fertilizing their plants. Now, as mentioned earlier, when the aliens started to attack, why did they disintegrate people? Weren't they just destroying valuable blood that they would need for their plants?
People are a resource.
Soldiers I can understand. You have to neutralize the planet's defenses, but people, once this scene came, it doesn't make much sense. After this eerie discovery, it's only natural that Creepo Harlan would do the logical thing and start yelling as he has a perfectly timed spaz attack.
Not my blood! Not my blood! Not my blood! Not my blood!
Ray then is forced to take matters into his own hands on Harlan, who won't shut the hell up and decides to shut him up for good. Their reprieve of a Harlan-free life is short-lived, unfortunately, when another probe is sent into the basement and they are discovered. Rachel flees the house screaming as Ray chops the probe with an axe. Again, another nod to 53. Because at this point, everything this man has been through, he'll be damned if he gets anal probed. Ray runs out of the house into what looks like Willy Wonka's chocolate room after the Armageddon. When Rachel gets nabbed by the alien, Ray grabs some grenades and quickly springs into action. Leroy Jenkins style.
Leroy Jenkins!
Why being captured seems to be such a chore at this point from beings who couldn't snatch humans up fast enough, who knows? After being put in a cage with other humans, we get to see one of the most ridiculous things in this movie. We discover before having your blood harvested, you have to make your way what looks like the tripod's anus. And I mean serious. This is what they decided to make this look like. Anyway, Ray gets grabbed and pulled up through the tripod's anus, but not before grabbing some grenades. The survivors manage to pull him back down before they detonate, destroying the machine and setting them all free. Or at least the ones who weren't impaled by the tree branches on the way down. Sucks to die that way, but beats going through an alien's anus before you're killed. Rachel and Ray make it to Boston finally, and we see the alien plant life dying and a tripod crashing into a building and another acting erratically. Ray discovered birds on the machine, meaning that the tripod doesn't have any defenses, and we are treated to one last alien fight and finally get to see the Army duel out an ass whooping. The Army fires a number of rounds from the javelin and manages to take down the machine and crush a couple people in the process. I guess when Ray says it's safer to stay in the tunnel, they should listen to him. Ricky Bobby knew again what he was talking about.
Help me, Tom Cruise!
Ray and Rachel make it to the grandparents' house where Rachel is reunited with Mom, and not only do Ray and Robbie reunite with a newfound mutual respect for one another, but the movie also treats us to a nice little Easter egg, as the grandparents turn out to be played by the two lead actors from the original 1953 film. It's here where our Heavenly Father Morgan Freeman informs us through his tender narration that the aliens were basically done the minute they breathed our air, drank our water, and ate. They were killed by the tiniest creature that Morgan Freeman in his instant wisdom decided to put on this earth. The next lines really sound ominous since we're in the middle of a pandemic. But by the toll of 1 billion deaths, man had earned his immunity, his right to survive among this planet's infinite organisms. And that right is ours against all challenges, for neither do men live or die in vain. So what did I think of this theatrical box office hit? Time to go to the hits and misses. Starting with the misses. And the big one here is a lack of conflict. We get glimpses of the fight with the aliens. In the 1953 movie, we see a lot more battle with U.S. forces and forces around the world. Ironically, for a movie called War of the Worlds, you don't get a lot of conflict. But what you do get treated to is a whole lot of screaming by Rachel.
When you start screaming like that, I can't really drive it. I know that. That's where we're going right now. Rachel, they probably turned around. I know!
I mean, this story is based on the war from one person's perspective of survival, and the fight is not the focal point. I love the original novel in the 1953 movie, but movie viewers with Independence Day expectations or anticipating alien-type action sequences are really going to be disappointed. The special effects, or at least 0.001% repeating, of course. Overall, the 99.9999% are amazing. But there are a few exceptions which really surprise me. The first is the leaf at the beginning and the end of the film, which is kind of minute, not really a big deal. But then there's the alien probe that didn't look particularly good. And then the scenery when Rachel and Ray are captured looked really bad. Why they had live shots and then like on a soundstage. I also had the issue with the dialing alien at the end. I gotta be honest, the 1953 alien arm looked just so much better than this. Then there's the alien anus on the machine. As menacing and unrelenting as these tripods are, this just seemed flat out ridiculous. So much so the Scary Movie franchise highlighted it in part 4. Then there's gawkers, gawkers, and more gawkers. I get at the beginning when they first arrived, but what's the deal at the end with the attack on the hillside? Why the hell are you running towards machine in the fight? Get the hell out of there. Now the hits. The biggest is the throwback to 1953 in the book. I just love how they stuck to the premise of survival from one man's perspective. They had the ferry scene which harkens to the ironclad battle with the tripod in the book. There are so many references between the two. Both have probed the characters have to avoid, to the probe demise with the axe, to both characters' inability to avoid crowds to keep their vehicle. The grandest of all is the grandparents at the end, played by the actors from the original. I love how this film is able to build suspense without actually having to show you the tripods and the aliens. And a narration by Morgan Freeman. I swear when I die, I want him to narrate my eulogy. It really was a great nod to the classic 1938 radio program and the 1953 film. So, is this 2005 rendition worth keeping safe in the cellar? Or should you grab Ray's axe and go to town on it? I say keep this film in the cellar for safekeeping because it is a very entertaining film. And if you haven't seen it yet, it definitely needs to be added to your list of movies to see. It's got great acting, superb special effects, and suspense. Well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe button below. If you didn't enjoy it, then tell that coworker that thinks they're the boss to hit that like and subscribe button below. But that's all I got. Until next time, I'm Bob, you're you. So long, everybody.
lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place.